What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. It's really just going to be an open show tonight. My audio's good. Basically, whoever wants to come in and talk, whatever. For now, we'll watch some of what's going on this channel over here. It's so disgusting.
Imagine that. That's the best thing you could do is hide behind a sock account.
You know what I mean? In fact, let me go ahead and drop the link. Anybody that wants to join, I'm just going to watch some of this till some people get in here. This is... Oh, imagine that, guys. Now, all of a sudden, they want to drop or unaliving hotline numbers for people. Now that they got tagged in all those mental health YouTube channels, now they want to do that, guys. And then they want to blame all of the non-free gracers because we didn't do it. Yeah, we were. Some of us were too busy trying to fight to help Pro. These people. But there's the stream. I'll jump back every couple minutes and see if anybody's trying to get in it. I gotta stay on this tab for a minute.
All of this was for you.
This one's for me. Here we go.
But yeah, they're so hypocritical. So hypocritical. Now they want to cry about Paul getting slandered today on another app. Well, you guys have been slandering me for a week. That's funny. And then you want to drop a hotline acting like you really care about people. It's so fake.
Here we go.
What's up, Jared? It's going to be an open talk show tonight. I was just watching this, waiting for a few people to get here. But it's just crazy. This channel is crazy. You see now that they now that I tagged them and all that. Are you? Okay. I'll let me see. I'll probably peek in on it is what I'll do. Hey, what's up, Shailesh Shandikar? I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. Shailesh Shandikar. But yeah, I'll when you start it up, we'll watch some of it. But yeah, that's just funny to me. Now all of a sudden they want to put up hotline numbers like they care about people and stuff, and then try to put blame on all of us for that's just funny. These people are crazy. Oh, you watched my Yanuka video? Yeah. Yeah, Yanuka, he's pretty yeah, he's a pretty interesting character for sure. They say there's nobody like him that's ever like known the whole Torah and every book of their Talmud, everything. I guess it's hundreds of thousands of pages. And they were basically like it's impossible for a man to learn all that, and he's learned all of it. They say he's cured like 5 people, one had cancer. Yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy. Might not be a bad candidate for false prophet if we're getting towards that time. But he's definitely an interesting guy. Right. Well, what time? When are you going to start that, Jared? Yeah, I didn't even know you were going to do it. I wouldn't have started the live. I would have just jumped over there. Okay. No, I don't. I don't believe he's the Antichrist. No, Yanuka, I don't. Like I said, maybe the false prophet of Revelations, but I don't think he's the Antichrist. No. What you got to remember is, so the Jews are waiting 2 messiahs. They're waiting for Ben David and Ben Joseph. One's going to be a holy man that guides them in the Torah, and the other is the Antichrist, basically. They're looking at it as like a military leader. someone who's going to come and fight all of Israel's battles for him. So they're waiting 2 men. I think if anything, he has a shot at possibly being the false prophet. But I personally feel the Antichrist will probably be a Muslim man. I just don't see how else the Antichrist would be able to get a deal done between Israel and the Muslim world, unless he's Muslim himself. Because Israel's going to accept any deal that comes their way for peace. The Muslims, on the other hand, it's going to be way harder to convince them. So I just think it's going to be a Muslim man. Plus, the scripture calls him the Assyrian. So, but that's just my personal belief. I could be way off. Really, I just make them. It's thought provoking and something for people to think about. Really, that's really my wheelhouse, is making those type of videos. I'm not like a great speaker when it's like organized. If this makes sense, I'm just not a great speaker. I can free form and just speak and here and there after pausing, but yeah, I'm not a great speaker. That's why I kind of do the videos I do. But let's do this. Let's check out Jared's video. We're gonna stream snipe him. He doesn't care. We're good buddies. Okay, here's his channel. Yeah,
sorry to
sure.
sorry to so many MAGA America worshipers, but we're not the center of attention in the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing a really interesting so basically this is it's like a little documentary he was telling me about basically how Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel, how he's basically into the occult, and he made a lot of characters based off Satan. And it's from the people who made people who sold their soul for rock and roll. So I think it's the same people.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back.
Right, I guess starting soon, I guess.
All right, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome. I am very excited for this because tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different, something that I hope to be doing more often. What we're going to be doing is we're going to, let me just make sure the audio is good. Yep. All right. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be watching a documentary that I have been waiting for about 2 years to come out. And it finally came out a couple nights ago. And it blew me away. It was an amazing documentary. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be watching it.
You talking about Jared Kushner? I think you're talking about Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Yeah, he kind of gives me the creeps, if I'm being honest. He kind of reminds me from Damien from the Omen movies, if you've ever seen that back in the day. Kushner's an interesting guy to keep an eye on too. He seems to always have like a scowl on his face, like he doesn't look happy, and he doesn't talk a lot. He's not actually a bad person to keep an eye on. Yeah, he was him, Trump, and Mohammed bin Salman were basically the ones that are doing the Abrahamic Accords behind the scenes. So that's the reason I got my eye on Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia too, because he's kind of leading the Abrahamic Accords. But I think that's who you're talking about is Kushner when you say Jared. Oh, I didn't. I don't know why it's doing that, Jared. The link should be still there. I'll post another link. I was really just messing around, talking. I'm not doing nothing. Let me drop another link. I was watching a little bit of Bible Talk. He's live right now, and he's watching like this Marvel documentary about how Stan Lee was actually into the occult and stuff like that. Shalish, what do you I don't know what you mean by the red. I know what you're talking about with the red heifers, but what do you mean? What happened? I don't understand your question. I know they bought heifers from Texas and moved them to Israel, and they're supposedly somewhere over there. But yeah, I don't know what you're asking there, buddy. What's up, Jared?
What's going on? How you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Nice. Yeah, I was just kind of flipping between praises and Jared's. Did you catch any of praises?
Oh, I watched your shorts.
Okay. Yeah, it's now see that all of a sudden now they're wanting to put out hotlines and so fake.
Did you see my comment on your on the first one?
I didn't. Let me check right now.
On the first short.
I'm about to go look right now. Yeah, I don't get it with these people. So what's going on? Is Pete fighting with him now or something? Because I noticed he's not been around.
No, the Pete that they were showing on their stream, I think, is a fake account.
Yeah, I'm talking
They're
about the
saying-
real Pete.
Oh, the real Pete? Oh, I have no idea.
Because he hasn't been on tonight. I'm wondering if it's probably his turn next for some fake charade to happen.
Oh yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I was like, yeah, free grace theology isn't a cult. It's your channel that
Oh
acts
yeah,
cultish.
yeah. I responded to that. That's true. I see exactly what you're saying for sure. It's yeah.
It's like you guys are not the embodiment of free grace.
Yeah,
It's your channel.
yeah, exactly. And then he said that nobody in Free Grace asked for money. That's not true at all.
Oh
I know
my gosh.
multiple channels Free Grace that do that.
If you don't ask for money, then why are you monetized? You can turn that off.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed the other night he skipped over a old letter he wrote where he was saying he was walking away from YouTube. And at the bottom, he said because one of the reasons was YouTube was taking 30% of his donations.
You're telling me ministries that go by the free grace theology don't ask for donations? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to say. And I was like, wow. It's crazy. I don't get it. I really don't. But I know that behavior, all that stuff that's just unacceptable.
And well, it's kind of being dishonest because if you want your ministry to advance, you kind of need money. It's not a
Yeah,
bad thing to ask for money.
yeah,
The
okay, exactly.
the problem is what you're doing with it. That's the issue. So it's
Yeah,
not
for sure.
bad to ask for donations or for money to advance your ministry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
especially if you're a channel that goes out and buys like food and clothes and blankets
yeah,
and
like
candles.
if you're gonna build a church or a stuff in Africa, you're gonna need money.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's why I was telling Jared people were getting on to him because he put that up while they don't. A lot of them don't know. Last year he was living in a hotel and they were like really bad off. And people in his Discord said, "Please throw up a link." Basically, like we want to help you out. So, yeah, I told him, "Don't worry about what people say, Jared." Like, I mean, I was like, even if you keep it up, if you're putting in hours a day, and then yeah, and like you said, it depends on what you use the money for. But yeah, that's how I am. I'm never gonna monetize this channel. Yeah, I don't care about views, none of that stuff.
so Shailesh wants to try to calculate when the temple's gonna get built.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think we can really do something we can do there, buddy.
So where's the whole thing with the red heifer? Is that in the Bible?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's um,
Hold on, let me pull up
yeah.
Bible Hub here.
So basically, for the priest to enter the temple, a red heifer has to be sacrificed, and then all the instruments and stuff have to be basically cleansed with it, and then they have to cleanse themselves with like the ashes and stuff. So they can't walk into the third temple without sacrificing one, basically.
I see. Okay. Well, in order for that to happen, the Antichrist would have to be revealed first and allow them to build the
Correct.
temple.
Correct.
So you'll know when the temple's going to be built after he's revealed.
Yeah,
You
correct.
don't need to know the age of the red heifer. My guess is that this is just my guess. The Antichrist will be a Jew of some sort,
Yeah, could be.
because the Jews are still Israel is still waiting on their Messiah. Those who don't believe in Jesus,
Correct.
and it would make more sense for them to accept a Jew as their so-called Messiah,
Yeah.
who will you know
Yeah. I don't know if you heard me talking before you came in. So from many Jews I've spoken to, like throughout the years, they tell me they're awaiting two messiahs, Ben Joseph and Ben David. One will be like a holy man that brings everyone back to the Torah, and the second one would basically be like a warrior that's going to fight all of Israel's battles for them. So I often wondered if maybe one would be a Muslim and one would be a Jew, and it would be the false prophet, Antichrist. Because I've always wondered, how are they going to unite when they go to do the peace deal? How are they going to get all the Muslims on board? Is what I've always wondered, and I've always thought maybe if one's a Muslim, the
yeah,
other's a
that's
Jew.
yeah. I
Because you
mean,
figure the Jews would probably, even if it was a Muslim, they're going to accept any deal that's going to bring them peace. The Muslims, on the other hand, that's going to be a hard sell.
well, the thing is I don't think. So here's the thing. I remember seeing something from Jared when he was like, Bible prophecy does not revolve around America. Um, I think I think Revelation mostly has to deal with Israel and the
Yeah,
land of it
correct.
and the
Yeah,
land of Israel. And I believe the Antichrist will rise up out of Israel and
yeah,
try to become this world peace leader out of Israel. And
yeah,
I don't think the people will accept a Muslim in that land of Israel. So it wouldn't really make sense for it to be a Muslim leader of some
yeah.
kind.
Maybe like half, maybe half Muslim, half. I
I
don't know.
mean,
Who knows?
it's hard to say it. We can mostly do is like speculate.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Um,
for sure, for sure.
so I mean,
And the other thing too is I look at the Islam's prophecies about the Imam Mahdi, and they literally it's the same as how the Antichrist is described too. So I've just always wondered and kept like keep an open mind. I don't it it's more likely going to be like you said a Jew and somebody we've never heard of. But I don't
yeah,
know. It probably could be somebody like Jared Kushner or that Yanuka guy. It really could be. I saw I saw Benjamin Netanyahu say something really strange about Kushner during a press conference like 10 years ago. Kushner was in the crowd, and Netanyahu said something to the effect of, they don't know how long I've known you, Jared, and what you truly are. Or it was something strange to that effect. And I was like, that was so weird to say that. So yeah, it probably will be a Jewish man.
yeah. I would try to not to look into everything that people say.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true too.
And, I mean, like you told me, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
um, because I could get you distracted and make you go down a bunch of rabbit holes.
yeah, that's
Um,
true. That's also true. I see what
um,
you're saying.
but I think it'll be someone that maybe I think it'll be someone that we don't even know. Like that.
Yeah,
I
more
think
than
that's the whole
likely.
point of. I think that's the whole point of like reveal. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be revealed. It's going to be like a nobody that just starts doing all these things, and that's the whole point of like everybody being like mesmerized
Yeah.
by the fake miracles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I did another series on. I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Maitreya.
No.
Literally, the whole New Age since their beginning have been talking about this man. He supposedly says he's the Christ, the Buddha, etc. And he's going to supposedly come with like 12 ascended masters. It could be something like that, like somebody we've never heard of or seen. Yeah, it's all
Well,
speculation for sure. We're more likely not going to know who it is when he pops up.
well, when it says that he'll rise out of the sea is representative people. So he'll
Yeah.
rise out of the public people. It won't be like, I don't think it's going to be like a world leader. I think it's just going to be someone that rises up out of the
Yeah.
out of the population.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. I remember people thought that verse was, they were like, oh, it's Bin Laden because they threw him in the ocean. I was
No.
like, you guys, come on. I remember all that when it happened. But yeah, he's probably just going to all of a sudden, he's going to start probably being behind like a lot of organizations and charitable things. And you're just going to start seeing him more and more and gaining more popularity, something like that. He'll probably start. That's what I would imagine. He'd start with like all the charitable organizations and stuff and get people behind him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, because a lot of people I've seen, they're like, "Oh, it's Trump. He's vile and all that." I was like, "Yeah, true. It does describe the Antichrist like that, but he's not going to come on the scene like that, guys. He's not going to come with a pitchfork and horns right off the bat, and he's gonna seem like he's nice and people are gonna love him." And
Yeah, he's going to call for world peace. I don't see Trump calling for world peace.
yeah,
I mean, granted, he doesn't want to start any wars and he wants to end the war in Ukraine, but he doesn't get along with everybody.
yeah,
Not everybody likes him.
yeah, true, exactly. And that's the other thing is everyone's gonna like the Antichrist.
Several accusations of alleged sexual abuse by young women who took care of him. However, even more adept comic aficionados are unaware of the reality that
Yeah,
Stan
Jared's
Lee
watching
purposely
a
set out to
little
repudiate
Marvel
God's
thing on his
goodness
live.
and diminish his power. Lee not only sought to paint God as an inept and uncaring being, but driven by his own humongous and infamous ego, sought to exalt himself and his plethora of comic gods and superheroes above God. We shall see that Stan Lee, along with Jack Kirby, not only sought to present God as evil, but they even sought to exalt Satan as
You can talk whenever you want to. That's why I turned it down low. Jared's been telling me about this for like a month now. It breaks down like all. I guess he made a bunch of the Marvel characters, like designed them after Satan. I guess is what Jared was telling me.
Huh?
Yeah, and this is like a documentary, like explains it all and tells what characters and yeah. So
I don't know. When I see Spider-Man, I don't think Satan.
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I was interested to wonder what characters they're gonna say.
Yeah, is it like all characters or only specific ones?
It's probably specific ones, I would imagine. What's up, mac and cheese? Jack Kirby. That name sounds
the
familiar.
real superhero deserving our worship. Our earnest hope and prayer is that the Lord will
Okay, he
use
said
this
it's an
expose
8-part
to
series.
further open the eyes of those who are aware of the deceptions we have been revealing
I don't know
through our
why people need to make
documentaries,
8
and that
parts.
those who are unaware of the spiritual war
Yeah,
afoot
that means
will
like
follow
8
the
hours.
evidence and become acutely keen of the vast spiritual deception that threatens the destiny of their eternal souls. God reveals in his word that there is a spiritual war of cosmic proportions between God and his angels and Satan and his angels. God's word reveals that Satan, the fallen angel, drew at least a third of the angels with him in his rebellion against God. One of the greatest evidences of the fact that both Satan and God exist is that satanic forces are using so many leading celebrities in Hollywood and the music industry. We document this in
That was
our
a good
acclaimed
series right
videos.
there.
They
It
sold
was
their souls
interesting.
for rock and roll and Hollywood's war on God. And in our video exposés of superheroes, in our Marvel and DC's War on God, the Antichrist Agenda, and Marvel and DC's War on God, Doctor Strange, Aleister Crowley, and the Multiverse of Satanism. God reveals in his holy word, the Bible, that he created hell for the devil and his angels. God reveals that he has not yet cast Satan into hell because he's allowing Satan to tempt humanity to reveal the wicked hearts of human beings and to make evident to all those who refuse to turn from their rebellion against God, who will in turn be sentenced to hell along with the
I like
devil
watching
as
stuff like
fallen
this,
angels. God's
little
word reveals
documentaries.
that Satan is the father of lies, and that as the prince and the power of the air, he guides the evil course of this fallen world as he works through the children of disobedience. It is no wonder that Satan uses mass media, his indoctrination of the lost masses. Satan is adept at weaponizing ancient mythologies through Marvel and other means to propagate lies about God, his effort to exalt demonic
So
entities and
actually,
his own
I guess I
satanic
could
kingdom.
see kind of what they're saying with Thor, with like the lightning and stuff. I guess
Yeah, but
that's probably where they're gonna
I
go with
mean,
it.
I mean, let's think about this logically, okay? If a kid's watching Thor, is the child going to start bowing down or worshiping Thor in the sense
No.
like they're treating him as God?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like I feel like a lot of this stuff like does a lot of reading into people's intentions, because I feel like someone can like Thor but still follow Jesus.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know? I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
no, I understand there's a fine line where don't make things like your idol and put
Yeah.
them in place of God. I understand the danger of that is, making idols and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I just don't. This is why I don't really like videos like this, because they sort of paint a picture like everyone who's watching Thor or anything related to Marvel or DC, I feel like it automatically assumes that they're worshiping it, and I don't think that's really
Yeah.
fair to do to
Yeah.
to a bunch of people.
Yeah. That's fair what you're saying. Shalish, yeah, the Bible doesn't say Nero will be the Antichrist. His name does go up to 666 in the gematria, but so does like thousands of other people. There's like thousands of people whose in their numeric names equal up to 666, but it doesn't say Caesar will be the Antichrist. But I've heard that theory before, that it'd be Caesar reincarnated, repossessing somebody, but it doesn't say Caesar or Nero is the Antichrist in the Bible.
He was born
But yeah,
Stanley.
his name does, like I said, equal up. But so did, I mean, there's a lot of peoples that equal up to that in gematria.
Martin Lieber in 1922, but changed his
The
name to
word
Stan Lee in
the word
1970s.
anonymous equals
Lee spent his
666.
teenage years growing
Yeah,
up in Bronx, New York. While Lee's
I think
childhood
Fox
and
does too.
adolescence were largely
Yeah.
uneventful, this would change dramatically as he'd eventually become the major creator and the very face
Yeah, you
of
gotta
Marvel
be careful
Comics.
of the people
Marvel,
who
with
give
Lee
like
at the
dates
helm,
and
would
numbers,
come to
Shalish.
influence literally hundreds of millions of people around the world into occult worldviews through mythological storytelling. Lee, by far and away, played the major role in Marvel's galactic success. The films based on Lee's Marvel characters have grossed tens of billions of dollars, more than several of the other top 10 franchises combined. For Stan Lee, this may have been proof of his boast in high school, when Stanley Lieber Lee claims, quote, "I climbed up a ladder and wrote Stan Lee is God on the ceiling."
When nobody was around, I climbed up the ladder and I wrote Stan Lee is God.
In the 1960s and beyond, Stan Lee was credited for helping create characters like Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, Galactus, Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, the X-Men, the Avengers, and many others. Lee exerted his power and demonstrated his omnipresence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the God of Marvel by making cameo appearances in an incredible 60 different Marvel movies. Lee's inflated ego led him to exaggerate his own origin story, falsely claiming that when he was young, he had won hundreds of dollars in a weekly writing contest for a newspaper that awarded $20 for the winner. Lee claimed that he'd won first place every week, making hundreds of dollars. The only problem with this claim is that Lee only placed one time, and he took 7th. For many who worked with Lee, this would be telling of his character and future problem
Wow,
with
he's younger
pathological
there.
lying by taking credit for other people's
Is
work.
Stanley an
His
atheist?
closest associates at Marvel Jack
think
Kirby
so.
and Stephen Ditko both
Okay.
testified that he had repeatedly
Look it
stolen
up.
Well, I
credit
mean, I'm not
for much of
surprised
their
that he
work.
wrote that on the ceiling then. He's an atheist.
Special surprise guest that we have
Let
for
me- I'm
tonight's
looking it up right
programs,
now.
Stan Lee.
I want to wish Jack a happy birthday. This is a hell of a coincidence. I'm in New York and I was tuning in the radio and there I hear him. And I just want to say, without getting too saccharine, that one of the marks, I think, of a really true great artist is he has his own style. And I think that's something you can be very proud of. And I'm proud of you for it.
I'm certain that
Okay,
whenever we
so
get together, we got.
looks like he was raised agnostic, and then later on in life, basically was non-denom. From what I'm reading, he left agnosticism, and then didn't go to another denomination.
So then I'm assuming he's just atheist then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So it's like I'm not surprised he wrote that on the ceiling.
yeah,
He doesn't
think
believe
it
in a
was more
God.
than that.
yeah. I had some
Why-
friends in high
like-
school that were atheists. They all used to wear upside down crosses, and I'm like, well, why are you even? What's the point of even wearing it?
But I don't know why we're acting surprised.
Yeah,
Like, guys, atheists
Jack,
do
we
this type of stuff all the
certainly done
time.
sales, but whenever
Yeah,
we
for
get
sure.
together, and no matter who did what, and I guess
like I
that's
said,
something
I
that
turn
will
it down
be
low. You
argued
can keep
forever.
talking over
You
it.
know, I
I turned it
feel
down
like
Oh,
low.
okay.
when it comes
Yeah,
right
yeah.
down to it, matter, who exactly did what, but you
That way I don't gotta keep pausing all the time, and Jared won't copyright me, so I don't gotta worry about pausing it.
I don't want to, and I don't want to get into controversy.
Yeah, I've seen that
What I
before
want
too.
to-
Shalish said it's not 666; it's actually 616.
Yes, I've seen those.
They weren't printed in the book.
All right, look, both of you. Hey, kids.
Comics have always been about exaggeration and making humans more like
Is that
God
too low?
and God more like
No,
men.
no, that's fine.
Okay.
Of Marvel Comics opens with a blasphemous appropriation of the book of Genesis. Quote, and Marvel said, let there be the Fantastic Four. And there was the Fantastic Four. And Marvel saw the Fantastic Four, and it was good.
Fantastic Four, and it did well. So we did another book.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Actually got a ton of old comics.
Dude,
on and on.
I feel like this is just a guy in his own fantasy land.
On the seventh day, I rested.
When one wants to claim to be a god in the world of comics, as in real life, they seek to either diminish or destroy the one true God. This was certainly true in the life of Stan Lee, and his weapon, as we shall see, was Marvel Comics. Stan Lee also glorified pornographer Hugh Hefner, who played a decided role in the sexual revolution, as he made a cameo appearance in an Iron Man movie where he played the part of Hugh Hefner.
Hey, Tony. Remember me?
Sure don't. Look great, Hef.
Many believe that Hefner's Playboy magazine promoted pedophilia by placing what often appeared as underage girls with older men. Stan Lee was a business partner and close friends with
I mean,
Hugh
if they're
Hefner.
over 18,
Lee
that's
even came
not.
up with the idea to team up with Hefner to produce a cartoon entitled Hef's Super Bunnies, which was an animated adult-themed series featuring pornographer Hugh Hefner as a superhero and near-naked Playboy bunnies running around as his sidekicks in the Playboy universe. According to Abraham Reisman, a comic journalist and the author of True Believer, The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee, he stated, quote, Lee really couldn't stand and didn't read comic books. And according to his former manager and his former bodyguard, Stan Lee, quote, loathed superhero movies and probably saw only about 2 of them in his life. Timely
I'll be
Comics
right
is
back.
a 1940s
Yeah, good.
comic book publishing company that would evolve into Marvel Comics. During this era, called the Golden Age, Timely was the umbrella name for the comic division of pulp magazine publisher Martin Goodman, Stan Lee's cousin. Lee was hired in 1939 and began by writing comics like The Black Marvel, Jack Frost, and The Destroyer as early as 1941. Lee eventually became Marvel Comics publisher in 1972 and took it to great heights as its primary writer. Ironically, according to Marvel Canon and All Winners Squad, Band of Heroes #2, the United States military drafted Timely Comics to create propaganda comics about the government-sponsored heroes in order to boost support for the war. Wikipedia under United States propaganda comics states, quote, Timely Comics and National Allied Publications became involved in the U.S. war effort during World War II. It further states Timely Comics, later to become Marvel Comics, created Captain America, and he entered World War II in early 1941. This is so ironic because during World War II, Lee honed his craft as a writer while in the Army and served in the Signal Corps Training Film Division in New York City, which produced training and propaganda films. Lee met with much success and drove around in his Rolls Royce in New York. While Lee may have despised his comic book creations and the movies they continue to spawn, as a former propagandist for the U.S. military, he did indeed see them as a weapon to condition potentially millions of unsuspecting youth to see Lee and his characters as gods, and as we shall see, distort God into the arch enemy of humanity itself, and to turn Satan into a benevolent being and humanity's real savior. To really understand the significance of how Satan is exalted by Stan Lee and his proteges, Jack Kirby, and even Steve Ditko, it's important to understand at least a little bit about the cosmology of the ancient heresy known as Gnosticism. Gnosticism was historically the greatest enemy of Christ and the early Christian church. When Christ came, he came to deliver the masses from the demon gods of paganism, which kept the lost world bound in spiritual darkness. Before Christ came, Satan and the demon gods were holding the world captive in spiritual darkness and corruption through the blind.
All right.
They were blinding the
I
masses.
was gonna watch a little bit of the praises and stuff, but
yet when Jesus
they're just
Christ
doing like
came and
karaoke
died
and
for the
stuff right
sins of
now.
the world, we read that he overcame the powers of darkness so that
Watch
we can all have
AOC
life.
Network,
Hebrews
Spirit of
chapter 2, verses 14
Antichrist.
and
I think
15
I've seen
states,
that.
quote, "Therefore, since the children share in flesh and blood, he himself likewise also partook of the same, that through death he might render powerless him who had the power of death, that is, the devil, and might free those who through fear of death were subject to slavery all their lives." After the first coming of Jesus Christ, he used his church to preach the gospel, and countless souls were turning to eternal salvation.
The other day, Joe Rogan asked Mel Gibson, director of Passion of the Christ, about evolution. And you have
Where is it? Spirit of Antichrist. Yeah, I don't see that one. I think that sounds familiar though, because I watched some of these channels' videos. That one actually sounds familiar. It should be like right here somewhere. I don't see it. I'll have to get to it. I watched something on theirs before, and they copyrighted me basically, and I couldn't. So I try not to watch that channels.
I'm back.
Okay.
Who copyrighted you?
I was watching one of that from the AOC channel right there, and I got it. It wasn't a strike. It was
and far from a perfect
where
being,
it can't be seen in like countries, I guess.
in his article 12 Things to
Oh, I
One of
see.
them was watching that channel, and one of them was in the middle of a live. I was doing a live, and they stopped it right in the middle of the live.
After Stan Lee's death,
And it was just
quote,
like a news
"For
one.
nearly 2 decades, I met Stan Lee
Oh,
for
wow.
work about once every month or two. Stan saw God not as perfect, but as a flawed being, just like man. Stan loved to quote
Oh, okay,
Omar
it looks
Khayyam's
like
Rubaiyat line, 'Did the hand then of the potter shake?' To
Hey,
Stan, Auckland,
by
it
the
meant
way, Jenna and I had a good conversation earlier.
imperfect jug, because the potter is flawed. So
oh,
too is
Janet?
God flawed in his
Yeah,
creation.
me and Jenna were having a good conversation on Charles's channel when she was live.
On layman seminaries?
Uh huh.
Okay. I'll check it out.
It's the one that's still live right now.
This one, how God is revealed.
Yeah.
Oh, this Janet. Okay,
Because Isaiah existed.
I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about
you have to go back.
Janet.
Please,
Way
did I
way in the
clear
beginning.
now? Did I clear with that?
Sometimes
Keep going.
I cannot mention correctly. But that I let him
Keep going.
get inside in my house.
Go. Oh, okay, right there. Yeah, yeah. Perfect.
First John. Oh, why did I do that?
So
First
she
John.
asked
You see my
me.
screen right now, right?
Pause it real quick.
How I wish I have my other device so that I can see your comment.
Okay.
So she was asking, how do you know God? And so I said, in my comment there, 1 John 2:3-4 should answer all your questions. Because she had like a list of questions in the description and stuff like that. And I said, I think 1 John 2:3-4 should answer your questions. So I just wanted to preface that.
Oh, okay.
Comments. That's what PB. You know PB. PB is just he just do live streaming earlier. An hour ago he stopped, but he have spent 1 hour, a little bit more minutes, and yeah, and that PB mentioning about have the statement. Actually, that's what I remember. He have a statement that every time he's going to do live streaming, like what I'm doing this time, he have his phone so that he can see the comments. He every time he did not pull out the comments on the screen.
Just a quick pause because her and Charles don't care for me, so I don't want to give them a reason to send something in.
It's really difficult if you interact videos, and then go to the StreamYard and then pull
So
out.
do you actually talk to her, or it's just through like writing messages?
Oh, it's through the chat.
Oh, okay.
Then show the comments if you are alone, But if there's someone in the panel, even though in the backstage, that person can do that to pull out the comments, like that. So I know that all those things, but others don't know that. So I just want to share that one. So 2 to 4, right? 4, right? 4. Okay. 2, 3 to 4. Okay. And 1 John 2. Janet, you are on 1 John 1. Okay, here. It says
Quick pause.
here, my little children, guys, the comments, the reason we pull out this 1 John chapter 2 because the Christian, what was that? Servant of Christ said that this is the answer of my question below. Okay, here we go. He said, my little children, I'm going to read all the paragraph. My little children, I am writing these things to you so that you may not sin. Okay? But if anyone does sin, we have an advocate with the Father. Jesus Christ the righteous. He is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also
just a quick pause
for the sins of the world. So this is the rebuke already for the atheists.
I guess if you go like 2 minutes or so without saying something, they can copyright you with that way.
Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I think Toronto told me that.
Oh, okay.
Like a few months back. That's what somebody tried to copyright him because he ran to the bathroom for 2 minutes and didn't say nothing.
Because the Calvinists believe that Jesus died only for the elect. This verse is cook them. Cook them. Okay, so again, also for sins of the whole world. Not just us, right? Also for the sins of the whole world. And by this we know, this is the this is the very passage that the servant of Christ said. And by this we know that we have come to know him.
He said, I never win a debate with her. Charles said that.
And by this we know that we have come to know him if we keep his commandment. Wait a minute, okay? Okay, there is something in my mind again. I think anyway, whoever says I know him but does not keep his commandment is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoever keeps his word, in him truly the love of God is perfected. By
Quick pause.
this we may know that we are in him. Whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked. Okay, I'm going to say before I'm going to explain the passage based on servant of Christ, why he quote that. Okay, and for me, it doesn't really it doesn't declare how. Okay, it does this passage. It doesn't declare how do we know God, how we
Okay,
able
pause.
to know God.
Okay,
Right.
so what are your thoughts?
So far she was just reading it. I was trying to see what her actual opinion, what she's gonna say the verse means to her.
So okay, so we can play. We can play, but I just want to kind of explain. So
Yeah, go ahead.
so I gave that verse because I thought she was asking, well, how do we know God? Well, it says that we know God by keeping His
Oh, okay.
commandments,
I thought
and
okay.
I
Thought
gave
you
that
were asking how to
verse.
walk like Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So it says, "For by this we know that we know Him, if we keep His commandments. He that says I know Him but does not keep His commandments is a liar,
Yeah.
and the truth is not in him." So if someone says that they know God or that they know Jesus, but they don't
Yeah.
keep His commandments, they're lying. So they don't really know Him,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I thought she was asking. But I think so. Then it came down to, well, what's the mechanism for God allowing us to know Him? And then I went to 1 John 1:5-7, where it says, um, God is light, and in Him is no darkness at all.
Yeah.
If we walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. But if we walk in the light, as He is in the light, we have fellowship with one another.
Yeah.
And the blood of Jesus Christ cleanses us from all sin. But then she was like, but then I guess I still didn't answer the question. And so I was like, oh, okay. Okay, well, then maybe try Romans 1:19-20, where it says that God had revealed it unto them by His creation, and the things are clearly seen. Basically, um, God's creation is a revealing of God's existence, of who He is.
Yeah. And
And
so
so,
she's gonna
yeah,
answer basically.
yeah, I kind of gave like the whole I kind of gave the whole interaction, but I just wanted to just like sort of explain kind of what was going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was
You know,
a good discussion and a good interaction. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, seems like it so far.
if God is in heaven, how we can know him? And servant of the king give us that passage, but that's not it. Why? Because servant of the king, please be patient with me, okay? I'm not contradicting the passage, but the passage is not it's not the way it's really not the passage how to know God. Because in here it says here, and by this we know that where is that? Okay, whoever says I know him, but does not keep his commandment is a liar. So is this what I mean is we should do the the commandments in order, when what should I say? Lord God, words, please. God give us commandments, and if we do the commandments, then we can know Him. How do you know that that commandment is
Just a quick pause.
really from God and not your own? Even though you quoted, even though
Right? How do we know the commandments from God? He gave us 10 of them.
Well,
uh,
later you'll see it. I clarified. I said the commandments is talking about is loving God and loving your neighbor.
Yeah. Okay.
I clarified that. But here in a little bit, she'll say something about like works, but it's not about doing works to know God. It's the fact
Yeah.
that now that you're saved, you have the Holy Spirit. You're being sanctified, and all John is saying is that you know God because you keep His commandments.
Yeah. What's up,
That's
Stefan?
all. That's all that verse is saying.
Yeah.
But it's hard to kind of explain that through chat, so I couldn't really put all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know how that goes. Stefan said, if we keep the commandments, we know Him.
Yeah, and it's the same vice versa. It's the
Yeah.
same vice versa. You know Him because you keep His commandments. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was taking a drink. Yep.
It has nothing to do with works, or it has nothing to do with your necessarily your salvation. It has to do with your walk and your sanctification.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what else she's going to say here.
it doesn't say that we can know God. It says here, by this we whoever says I know Him but does not keep His commandment is a liar. So do you think that we can know God if we do works? Because it says do.
No,
wait.
No, it's
She's
not
not
what I'm saying.
understanding. Yeah. Yeah. It's clear she's
don't do-
not understanding.
You don't do works to know God. You do them because you already know Him.
Yeah.
You keep the commandments because you already know Him. That's the point. That's the thing. Because you're saved, you have the Holy Spirit, and God's Spirit works through you. You do His commandments because you know Him already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You do His commandments already because you know Him.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to think about that for a second when you said it that time. Yeah. I was like, oh, he got the words backwards. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Keep His commandments. So what is His commandments? How do we know that
Stefan
this God
said, is she contradicting free grace? Question mark.
No,
is the true God who give us commandments? So in my view, this passage this does not declare or telling us that we can know can know God, because this is already the the future tense of a sense to know God. You already know God. So therefore, do these commandments. And whoever says that I know Him but does not do His commandments, then how do you know that God is true? You know what I mean? So in first place, how do you know?
Quick pause.
Oh God. How do you know God? That's the question in my here in my the title of this live streaming, right? How do you know God? So we cannot do the commandments of First John chapter 2 verse 3 to 4. We cannot do that unless we know God, right? Unless we know God. I'm not saying that I'm not talking about salvation here, okay? I'm not talking about salvation here or whatever or experiential like that. I'm not talking about that. I am talking, if God is in heaven, how do you know him? How do you know that God that you worship is the God that it is in heaven? If he is in heaven, who will reveal him? You know, that kind of passage I want to know.
Yeah, she was just jumping around a little bit right there.
It's okay.
Yeah. I'm not making fun of her. Nothing.
No.
She was just jumping a little, trying to figure out what she was saying, basically.
Roosters going nuts in the morning. Maybe many Peters here.
You can fast forward here a little bit.
Yeah. So stick with me, okay? We have Bible telling us like that, okay?
Okay, now go back a little bit. You can use the left arrow key to go back like 10 seconds.
How do you know God? For doing that, but my question is, how do you know God?
Okay, back a little more.
How do you know? My question is, how do you know? They are telling us God. I know that we have Bible telling us, love your son, telling you. How do you know your neighbor? God, if you don't know. I know, but that's not how do we know God? How you can love more, God? Yes,
a little bit more.
Prayer in that on
Okay, right there. Yeah.
So, just please keep me in your prayer in that. So, yes, we see. Okay, thank you so much. So that's my question earlier. And servant of King said, by commandments, it's talking about loving God and loving your neighbor. Yes, I know, but that's not how do we know God? How you can love God if you don't know him? How do you know the first moment before you do loving God, before you do loving your neighbor because you love God, you know, before that happened, how do you know that the God in heaven is the one telling you love your neighbor, love God? I know that we have Bible telling us like that, okay? They are telling us for doing that, but my question is, how do you know God? How do you know God? If God if God is in heaven, how do you know God? How God revealed to us? How God reveals to us? And how do we know that that what we read in the Bible is the things is really
How would you answer the question, James?
I mean, for one, through the commandments, and then he revealed himself through Jesus Christ, and it almost sounds like she's about to say, how do we know it's even real or something?
So it gets to a later part. So basically I ask her, like, are you saying that you have to see God in order to know him?
See, I should have put it that way. That makes what you just said is how I should, basically what I was thinking.
Yeah, and then she said yes. And then she goes on to explain. I don't fully remember. She brought up something in John where she said, "No one has seen God at any time besides the Son, besides the begotten Son." So yeah, she goes into that. I don't remember fully what she said. So you might have to play that part.
Okay.
We know because it is in the Bible is literally Bible already in our hands, right? But in our mind, God is in heaven. Then how do we know him? How do we know him? Okay, how do we know him? What do you mean by sneaky cat? Lemon Seminary. I'm sorry, are you? There's no schedule of lives
fast forward.
Okay. To be with me because
Until you see my comment again.
Because I ring to share the link and 4, right? It's on the screen, but that's not the point of knowing God. I mean that you know God. I
Go
should
for
say
it again.
not knowing God, but you know God. But
I'll tell you
I'm
when.
going 3. You to answer. So I don't do God. Well, of sin.
Okay, that one. Okay,
When
that
you
one.
have
Go ahead.
faith, when you, because when you said when you have faith, you believe, you believe. You said faith in his son, right? Faith in his son. But I want the passage that declares us to know who God is and what God is. The last video, the episode 1, on the other day, I mentioned that we can know God with the 3 who's in 1 what's. So I want you guys to help me find any passages in the Bible that telling us to reveal himself, because to reveal God, as what my thumbnails. I hope you can understand my English now. Okay, the thumbnails there. Let me open the thumbnails that I have. It says there that layman, what what is that? Wait. Okay.
Yeah, it really sounds like she's trying to ask for something that nobody can do. I mean,
Wait a minute. I'm going to pull out the thumbnails. Okay. It says the
Go
thumbnail. I'm
ahead
going to share my screen
and
now.
fast forward.
On
It kind of
this.
gets like drawn out. Sorry.
The build. And also, how is God said that means you are in how is my understand my, so it's not who got passed already right there. Okay,
there we go. Right
God,
there.
loving one another. God commanded us to love our neighbors. Before that happens, okay. But I'm going to read your passage, 5 to 7. This is the message we have heard from Him. Okay, heard from Him and proclaimed to you. Heard from Him. How? Okay, how? That's what. How? Okay, how?
Well, He
like
told
she
them.
wants,
Jesus told them.
Exactly. I mean,
The message. This is the message that we heard from Him. Who's the Him? Jesus. Who heard
like
it?
saying
The
she wants God
apostles.
to personally speak in her ear and tell her it's true or something. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. The whole Bible, the apostles, I mean, yeah.
It says, this is the message we have heard from Him and proclaimed to you, that God is light, and in Him is no darkness at all. Yes, I got that. I got that. I got that. But who? I want passage. This is still not. This still not. I'm respect you, Christian. Again, what's the name? Servant of Christ, Christian. Servant of Christ. Okay. He said, if we say that we have fellowship with Him while we walk in darkness, we lie. It's still not, because it's already we know already. But how? But how did John know God at the first time before he's doing this? Before he's doing this statement.
I mean, the same way everybody else does. They were told.
I mean, yeah, he was a Jew. He was a Jew, and he grew up in it.
Yeah. He saw it, and then other people are told about it. Like, how else do you hear about it?
So yeah, that's okay. Now I remember what she said. So she said. So basically, what she said was, "We come to know God because of the witness, because of the eyewitnesses, and history and stuff like that. That's why we can know about Jesus and know about God, is because of the eyewitness testimony. basically, like how it got carried around by word of mouth, basically.
Yeah, and so why is she
If
arguing
you read
about?
And I guess that's what she was trying to get at.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why she's like arguing over these verses. Then strange.
Well,
while we walk
because she asked, like, okay, maybe it's kind of my fault because I'm taking the question like hyper literal, like I'm like she's asking how do we know God? So I took that hyper literal, and so then I did 1 John 2:3-4, and then she asked who God is. And so then I took it hyper literal again, and I gave her 1 John 1:5-7, where I said, "Well, God is light."
Yeah, I see. Okay.
So I guess it was kind of my fault because I was taking it like hyper literal, and I wasn't like fully, I guess, understanding her question. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. I mean, we don't have to watch.
I find
We don't have to
myself
watch the whole thing.
I find myself doing that a lot with her streams, like trying to figure out what she's saying. I'm not like trying to be rude or nothing. Like, yeah, sometimes I just understand what she's asking.
Well, yeah, she said her English isn't that great, so sometimes it's hard for her to get across what it is
She does
that she's saying.
It's not that I can't understand what she's saying. I think it's the word she uses that it makes it jumble stuff up. The word she uses sometimes. But that's that's probably due to the English being a second language.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean,
oh yeah,
I still enjoyed the conversation. I thought it was great.
What's
I
up, Mr.
was
Lord?
laughing and stuff. So
yeah,
we don't have to watch the whole thing. We can go back to the Marvel thing if you want.
Okay. Yeah, they're not. Doesn't look like they're doing anything on the Praises channel. Oh, they're doing
Are
something.
You checking in? You checking in?
They're doing something on Chat GPT.
Oh yeah. You know, it's interesting. I used ChatGPT and I asked it like, is sanctification optional? And it gave me a whole thing. Basically, it said no, it's not. And then I did present to me arguments against free grace regarding sanctification, and it gave me like this whole list of stuff. And it was pretty cool. Like I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that's basically what they did.
He's literally just.
They had to print out a thing of 20 reasons why free grace isn't a cult or something.
Yeah,
so it looked like it printed them out like a long list too. Yeah, I'm curious that's why I'm curious if two different people asked it the same question, if it's going to give both people the same exact answers.
I don't think it does.
That's what I'm wondering myself. Yeah, I don't think it probably does either. That might have to be a nice little test one day to.
Because you could reframe the question and be like, why do people believe free grace is a cult? And then it'll give you a bunch of reasons.
Give you a bunch of reasons, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I wonder if people ask the same exact question, if it would give a different answer, if it's going to give those two people the same exact answer.
I see. Well, I actually did that when I asked, is sanctification optional? I didn't copy and paste it, but then I went back and typed it the same way, and it gave me the same answer.
Oh, okay. That's why. Yeah, that's why I was curious if it changes up or if it gives the same exact one every time.
I think it'll change if you've changed the phrasing of the question.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, James. I'm gonna head out. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm probably gonna call it here anyway and just jump over and watch his live. But yeah, I'll catch you next time, Jared. It was good talking to you. All right, guys. God bless. I'm gonna jump over and catch some of Bible Talks live. I'll catch you guys on the next one.